Tottenham on tour. Tottenham on tour. Tottenham on tour.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, wherever you are in the world. It's Tottenham on Tour. We thought today we would have a bit of a fun stream. And I'm here with my brother, Ben Kauffman, to have some fun and talk things positive today, because we're going to reflect on someone very, very positive. How are you, Ben?
Doing all right. It's been an interesting morning. The weather is absolutely terrible out there, but luckily we've got some warmth, and we're gonna go down memory lane, which is gonna be absolutely wonderful. So it's gonna be a great stream.
It is. We're going to have a lot of fun. Obviously, we are going to stay away unless any news breaks from talking all things ownership, lack of transfer activity, everything. We're going to just focus on the joy that Mr. Gareth Bale gave us. But before we get into Gareth Bale, we're just going to say a quick enjoy your retirement. 1 second. Just do that, Ben, about Larice, because Ryan's going to join us. I'm just going to send the link to Ryan.
All right. So, yes, after the announcement that Gareth Bale was retired from football immediately, Mr. Hugo Larice has retired from international football. A splendid career for him, leading his team to 2 World Cup finals, one of them winning, which is probably amazing that a Tottenham captain has actually won something. But yes, so a very happy retirement to Hugo Larice, and hopefully he enjoys it, and hopefully now he can focus fully on Tottenham for the next year. It's going to be his last year probably as Tottenham captain as well before he moves to pastures new. But hopefully this last one is going to be a great one for him, because that man deserves a title at Tottenham as well, an absolute legend of football. Anyone that can lift that trophy must have some minerals about them. So we're going to look out. Before we go into Mr. Gareth Bale and Mr. Ryan joins us, we're going to go through the people in the community that are with us. So big up to Mrs. Sue Smith, the Diamond, as Brian likes to call her. Big up. Hopefully you're well.
Always.
KPV. It's me. It's K.
KPV.
Hello. Hope you're doing. DJ Green Alert. Big up. Mr. Phil P is in the house. Woo! Big up. Phil P.
Phil P, I hope you're okay, buddy. I saw you on Saturday and we had a hug, and as people will know, I have now come down with COVID.
Yeah.
So I'm praying. I got to meet his wonderful kids as well and his dad. So I'm sorry if anything gets transmitted. I know. It finally caught me.
Yeah. Mr. Daniel Sandover saying, morning, come on you Spurs. Morning, Daniel. Hopefully you're well. Mr. Derek Hutchinson. Mr. Swifty. Ryan McFarlane. Big up. Tony is in the house. Big up. Hopefully you're well. We shall be joined by Ryan and Mr. Danny Kyriacou, but I don't know where Danny is. He's probably going to arrive 4 hours late again, as he usually does. Mr. Andrew Gregory as well. Big up, Andrew. Hopefully you're well.
Big up, Andrew, brother. So yeah, I do have to say, Danny has known about this stream since yesterday and was going to join us at 11, and Ryan has known about it for 3 minutes.
About 5 minutes.
And I'm going to put my bets on Ryan being here first. But yeah, so let's get into. Obviously, I just want to say with Hugo, first of all, what a servant to France, incredible service to France. But hopefully, with his retirement now, he can just focus on Tottenham and just pay attention to not making any more rickets. Hopefully, Tottenham will get the benefits of this, because he's not going back and forth all the time and travelling. He's only with Tottenham, so hopefully it'll be good. But now let's get on to the Welsh Wizard. the
Yes.
Welsh wizard, which this show is all about. Ben, before I go on about me, uh, your kind of synopsis of a description of what Gareth Bale means to Tottenham and what he meant to you as a Spurs fan.
Gareth Bale was my hero growing up. He was the first real high quality player we saw at Tottenham dominate games. We had Luka Modric before that, and we all loved Luka Modric very much so. But Gareth Bale was the first player to show world-class talent at Tottenham for many, many years. I mean, he was unbelievable at every facet of football, the technical ability, the speed, the free kicks, dead balls. He had absolutely everything you want a footballer to have. And he had, most importantly, he had X factor. If you were drawing a game, you knew Gareth Bale was going to get the ball on that right-hand side, smash it in from 35 yards out, top corner. It was nothing to him. That man was an absolute genius at Tottenham, and he showed for many years that not only could he do it on the smaller scale, not that Tottenham is a smaller scale indeed, he did it at the biggest club in world football. 3 Champions League finals he won single-handedly. That we know about the Atletico Madrid one, where he won the game single-handedly for them. He didn't get the plaudits. The overhead kick against Liverpool. This was a big game player. Whenever the chips were down, he won you a football match. And he did that in a team with Ronaldo and overshadowed him, which is probably why Ronaldo didn't like him. Because imagine Ronaldo getting overshadowed in a Champions League final by a boy from Cardiff. And that is the calibre of footballer. If it weren't for injuries, he would be in the top 3 of possibly of all time. How good he was. He was an absolutely vicious football player. And hopefully people will now see, with all the love he's getting from his Real Madrid teammates, how much he's getting from the Tottenham guys. This was a real footballer. This was an unbelievable footballer for club and for country as well. We haven't even got to his country records, carrying Wales at that Euros when they got to the semi, carrying them on his back. This was a legendary footballer, and people need to see this. Yeah,
I mean, we're going to discuss it. Do you know what? I have very few regrets in my life, very few. But the biggest one for me was I never ever got to see Gareth Bale live. I've seen Gazza's, I've seen Klinsmann's, I've seen Janola's, I've seen Modric. I never ever. No, I did get to see Modric either, but Gareth Bale, I was too busy with dealing with my addictions and personal issues to even think about going to Spurs. So I only got the joy of seeing him on TV. But from a little kid from Southampton, and we'll go into that part, what I've seen that man do, the word I would use is devastating.
Yeah.
He was absolutely a devastating pace, a devastating left foot, devastating strength, devastating speed. He just blew teams away. And like you said, the last time I can remember having a player like that was David Ginola, where when he got Gaza, one of those players that when he got the ball, you were on the edge of your seat because you knew potentially something big is about to happen. It could be from the halfway line, and we saw what he did in the Inter Milan game at home. We're talking about that game in great depth. When he ran part, when he just kicked the ball and just outpaced it. You just never, ever, ever knew what he was going to do. He was an outstanding player who bled blue and white. We're going to talk about his goals as well. We're going to talk about it all, but he was just, that season before he went to Madrid, he was unstoppable. I mean, you look at the season where Bergkamp won Arsenal the league, when Freddie had his red hair and things. Gareth Bale, if we didn't have him in that season, God knows where we would have been. And every single goal was like goal of the month or goal of the season. I just hope. Let him enjoy his retirement at this moment. I don't know what his plans are, but right now I'm busting my balls. I would be busting my balls to get him on the not coaching staff, but in within the club,
training area,
in around that training ground. We've been talking recently. This is the only thing I will mention about that. We need footballing people at the club and associated with it. We have King, we have Dawson's. That we need to get more. And Gareth Bale and Defoe, getting Gareth Bale in there would be absolutely top of my priorities right now. But that's all I'm going to mention about that part of the.
We're going to
just a wonderful player, and now we're going to see. Now we're going to bring him in because Ryan's here now. For Ryan, when we speak. First of all, good morning, brother.
Good morning.
For me, obviously, nothing replaces Gaza. Nothing replaces Gaza. And with a lot of people, nothing replaces Hoddle. Yada yada yada. Would I be right in saying Bale was your first superstar?
Yeah, he was. Put it this way: when he came back, and Spurs put the announcement out, I just burst into tears because he was honestly my hero.
Yeah.
10-year-old, 11-year-old me watching him sprinting down the line. Honestly, seeing him come back holding up the shirt, even though it's not the number 11 shirt, just seeing him holding it up, just honestly so emotional. Bringing him up. Obviously, we know now, PR stunt, everything. I mean, it was just great anyway to have him on.
Even if it was a PR stunt, in his last season at Tottenham, he contributed to 16 goals. 16 goals.
Yeah, and how many games did he start? It was just incredible.
It was ferocious how good he was. I mean, Ryan is 7 years younger than me, but still, this was if you're talking Tottenham heritage. This was our Gaza of our era. You can Van der Vaart as well. You could probably put in that cult hero status of being our first real footballer that says this is what a world class player does. Because we didn't really grow up with much, did we? We had Ledley King, who was unbelievable at that point, but I wouldn't call him off the caliber of Gareth Bale. Otherwise, probably Ledley King would have been at a better football club, even if it weren't for the injuries. But it was the first real. This is a Galactico, a real Galactico. And when Zidane done that interview and said, the one player I'm impressed with is not in the Champions League, and it's Bale, frightening, that's the only word you could say, frightening pace. Absolutely, once he got, and it was a quick turn of pace as well. So not only was he fast, he was quick as well, which is unbelievable how he gets top speed, being that quick. Goes around full speed immediately, and at that speed, it's unbelievable.
I mean, the goal everyone talks about that really showed that speed was probably the one in the Copa del Rey final against Barcelona, where he ran off the pitch.
Or Man United.
Man United.
Man United.
That was aging Rio Ferdinand. Still a great goal, and of course going past prime Maicon. Twice.
Well, I think what you've got to remember, Ryan, if you go back to the very, very start of him, when we signed him from Southampton, and he scored against Arsenal in the North London derby, we're talking about a very, very different person. We're talking about a boy, lightweight, has all the attributes, just very, 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 very slender. Obviously had that run with Harry Redknapp that broke that 24 games or 27 games without getting a victory. Then Harry Redknapp broke that curse by bringing him on.
5-0 up against Burnley just to make sure. So you talk about Harry Redknapp.
I think your fight was against Birmingham. Birmingham.
Against Burnley. You didn't want to risk
We'll
it.
find out. I'm sure it's Birmingham, but you might be right. It's a B. It's a B either way. But yeah, you got to remember, like you said, we're talking about that, but it just goes to show when we talk about Brian Hill recently, about big up Bob Spur brother. When we were talking about Brian Hill trying to get bulked up, yes, it could be genetics, but the change in that man from hard work, dedication to become the physique and specimen he was, because in that first season, obviously he was a wonder kid, he was a teenager. We saw the pace, but he was easily taken off the ball, wasn't he?
Yeah. I think Genus said it at the end of the 09-10 in one of his podcasts or something. Gareth Bale obviously was just getting into the team 09-10 with his goals against Arsenal, Chelsea, one at the end of the season against Burnley. You saw the pace, And then when it came back for pre-season for the 10-11 season, Bale proper muscled up, and that's when Bale really showed what Gareth Bale was going to be.
I mean, it's an unbelievable story. I mean, how many British footballers can say they've won 5 Champions Leagues, and there's only one of them? There's a rhetorical question. What 5 Champions Leagues? 5 of them.
Literally, what he's done, and obviously he had it in Spain where obviously the fans were against him at the end or for most of his career. Whatever happened in Madrid. You can't knock what that guy did. Scored arguably the greatest Champions League goal of all time against Liverpool. That goal is just poetry in motion. But you got to look at what he did at Spurs. I mean, there were, whether you believe the rumours or not, Harry Redknapp ridiculed them immediately, saying he was never ever going out on loan.
Yeah.
But thankfully, we put him at left wing. Thankfully, and because he was a wing back, Wales started playing him. So I don't know if people have watched. There's a documentary on BBC iPlayer about the Welsh team from when John Toshak took over. I think it's called the Welsh Heroes Roar or something like that. It's a 3-part from when they took up, when Toshak came in and started revolutionising the Welsh football to say, right, youngsters, to qualify for the World Cup. And the evolution of Bale, like they all saw it. They all saw it in this kid. We were so lucky to get him at the price we did when we got Darren Bent and everything. I don't think in my wildest dreams I thought I was about to witness the player that came through. What about you two?
It's very difficult to say really, because how old was I when did Gareth Bale come to Tottenham? 2005?
07, 08.
2005, 6 season? 07, 08, so 5.
So 5 for about 11, 12. I mean, just another kid, really. You never really know. We were all lauding Younes Kabul, and now we are looking back at it, feeling really stupid. But now we've seen the evolution of an exceptional talent to the prime footballer of what you need at a football club, and it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy how good of a footballer he was over that longevity of a time. And people say, "Oh, injuries, whatnot." Still, he would put a mark on a game, and that's what a prime footballer does.
Well,
Okay.
Imagine if Gareth Bale's mentality could somehow have gone into Dele Alli.
Yeah,
that would have been incredible. Let's get to some of the moments, because there's going to be a fucking hell of a lot of them. Let's do favourite 2 goals. Let's do favourite 2 goals. It's very, very easy for me. I'll go last, unless you two need time to think about it.
okay.
I've got my 2.
You got your 2? Ben, do you need time?
I'm definitely going to need time.
Okay, go on, Ryan. You go first, buddy. Let's see what people in the chat say. Favourite 2 goals as well.
Everyone's going to agree. Number 1, West Ham away, 20th anniversary of Bobby Moore's passing. Monday night, last minute, shift runs the length of the pitch, gets taken down, I think, by Gary O'Neill, it may have been. Gets up. Tom Carroll's first assist for Spurs. What an assist. Just lays it 2 yards across to Gareth Bale, 30 yards out. Shifts it and puts a rocket into the top corner. And UC Yaskalainen had absolutely no chance. UC Yaskalainen had the game of his life that night as well.
Yeah.
He was saving everything. And he couldn't get anywhere near it. I was at home with my dad. And that was obviously 5 days before the North London derby. And we were going absolutely potty.
Yeah.
What a goal.
And number 2?
Second one, I love the goal against West Brom.
That's a great goal as well.
Yeah, just the way he's just thumped it. He's just smashed through the back of the ball and just smashed it. Won that 1-0. and I'm going to put that joint second with obviously it ended in defeat. In fact, I'm actually not going to choose the City away game, the one where he whipped it. I'm actually going to choose the dink over Joe Hart to make it 3-1 at the where we scored 3 goals in 7 minutes.
That's great. Yeah,
I've never seen a Spurs player ever do a proper, like a proper Messi-esque chip, and that's just world class, and that's that for me.
There's a great one just mentioned. There's a great one just mentioned from the bicycle kick at Stoke. But you know what? Everyone is going to say the West Ham. You didn't mention my second one, but I'm going to think of another one now to put on it. So one of my favourite goals, and it's just the manner he does it, is his last ever goal for Spurs in his first stint. That goal against Sunderland, where the ball just comes up, it rolls all around him, brings it down. Sunderland. It was Southampton the week before in the last minute.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, where he just ran down the wing, cut in, and just outstepping the foot. But that last goal at White Hart Lane that he scored, the old White Hart Lane, that Sunderland goal, when we're trying to get Champions League football, and obviously we blew it. But that goal, from the way it just rolls up his chest and then he stops it, that is just a thing of beauty. A thing of beauty. And the next one I'm going to choose, the goal's great, but it's not even for the goal, it's for the commentary. I think I said this to you yesterday, Ben. I can't remember who we were playing in the Europa League. I know it was a French team. I think it was Lyon. If people remember that, shut up, Ryan. You've just blown my whole goddamn Jesus Christ, Ryan. So
sorry, I know the commentary up by heart.
Oh my God. So yeah, that's what made it for me. It was 1-1. He'd scored a header. And then the commentator on Channel 3 just said, "Is there one last magic trick from the wand of Gareth Bale's left foot?" And then it just ripples in the top corner, and the commentators just went, "Ta-da!" That commentary is as good for almost as good as is Gascoigne going to have a crack. But the other thing I will say about the West Ham game is, if people remember, like you said, Ryan, it was just for an NLD. And if people go back and watch that commentary on Sky, I think it was on Sky back then, or whatever channel it was on, as Gareth Bale got fouled, the guy goes, "Do you know what? There's only one winner in this 2-2 draw, and that's Arsenal." And as he said Arsenal, as he said the word Arsenal, Gareth Bale strikes that ball. Gareth Bale strikes that ball just as the commentator says Arsenal, and it ripples in the top corner. But yeah, that Gareth Bale free kick, like you were saying, Ben, with free kicks, that one in Europa, they were just the knuckleballs that he was doing, like Ronaldo, were just so they're my two. What about you, Benny Boy?
What I love about that, because he scored 2 free kicks in that game. He scored 2 of them.
That's right.
Scored 2 of them.
He scored one from about 35 yards.
It was 2 free kicks in that game. That
was the one where Samuel Umtiti for Lyon scored that
ridiculous goal. But the fact he's already scored one free kick in a game, you think, Jesus Christ. Then he gets up and he smashes another one, and you're like, what the hell? It was just like it was like Juninho against Lyon. It was like Juninho. Whenever Juninho would take a free kick from 40 yards, I was like, oh, it's a goal. Just kick up again. It was almost, but the volley against Stoke was unbelievable. Everyone's mentioned the goals. Trying to think of other the goal against Man United was insane. How he took that was the moment Rio Ferdinand said, "Yep, I'm done as a footballer at a top level.
Yeah.
I can't do it." But one we haven't mentioned is Swansea. That 1-2 with Jan.
Super Jan.
That was an absolutely brilliant goal. The fact those two combined for both goals.
I mentioned the solo goal away at Norwich.
Bob mentioned it.
He scored a few.
He scored 2. I'm not sure which one, whether he's talking about the dink or the one where he goes past Tete and smashes it in.
That was how he just burned up the entire Norwich team just with pace and smashed it in the back of the net. It was just like unbelievable.
You got. I think what you got to remember as well is two other things. It's the goal against the Filth when we won 2-1, where we scored 2 goals in 2 minutes and busted their offside trap, and he just runs to the camera and goes and screams down the camera, was just phenomenal. But what you got to remember as well, and what I loved about him as well, was his assists.
Yeah.
And do you know what? People will go on about the Inter Milan assists, which were fantastic. But you mentioned the game earlier, Ryan. The goal he scored against Man City, the dink, was superb. But if anyone can remember that assist with the outstep of the foot to Dempsey was one of the best passes. Joe Hart didn't know what to do with himself.
Yeah.
It was just one of the most sublime, subtlest touches you could even imagine. And it's like when it got to this guy in his left foot, like Ben said a minute ago, it was a free kick. It was like, oh, just start again. If he was 1-on-1, it's just start again. If he was looking up to cross it, it was a thing of beauty. This guy just had it all, didn't he?
It was, in particular, that Man City game. You saw 2 of the best footballers in the world going at each other the entire game, and that's an for Bob. You saw prime Vincent Kompany versus prime Gareth Bale. Like an absolute clash of the titans, how good Vincent Kompany was in that game. And even him at his full powers couldn't deal with Gareth Bale. Shows how monumental a footballer he was. That's the only word, monumental. Because Kompany was sublime in that game. The commentary on the BBC was a game of 2 halves. In the first half, Vincent Kompany was just immovable. And in that second half, Gareth Bale was undeniable. Something along those lines.
What a visionary, saying that it's a game of 2 halves. So that would actually describe us now very well, wouldn't it? But yeah, I tell you what, let's get onto it. And this is a big question that I always ask people. Let's talk Inter Milan, obviously, the famous of the famous.
Which one?
Which game? We'll talk about both of them. But the first question is, and I'd love to see what people think, is which game do you think he played better in? Because for me, even though he scored a hat-trick, that second game, he was so much better.
Yeah.
So much better.
He was more devastating in that second game.
I can't lie. I was 10 years old. I'd scored the next morning. We were 4-1 down. 89th minute. I thought, I'm turning off the TV now. And for some reason, I turned it back on 10 minutes later, just like, so it was like 4-3. What the hell? And I was going to bed. And I just couldn't get to bed because something was lingering in my head. That something just. So I turned it back on 10 minutes later, against my mum's wishes because she knew I'd score in the morning. Yeah. So I missed the other 2 goals.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've seen them.
Yeah.
And so I can't put a full performance on that. But if you want a full on 90 minutes, the game at White Hart Lane was just unbelievable. I was there that night, and it's still today the best atmosphere I have heard.
Yeah.
I sat
that game above the Arsenal game. I know the Arsenal game last year was loud. That game was special. How it was loud, but it was like there was a beauty in the air of what we were seeing was history.
Yeah. I said last year was just nasty and hostile at the against Arsenal. And when we were 2-0 up after 45 minutes, instead of being nasty and hostile, I just turned into a party. Let's be honest, it's a party atmosphere. Whereas the Inter Milan game, it wasn't particularly hostile. It was just beauty. Everything there, everything was perfect. And that's what made the lane. That's what made White Hart Lane so special on nights like that. I was there right in front of the Milan fans, actually, because I was in the only place I could find the tickets. What my mum could find tickets was in the wheelchair area where there were seats. So got tickets there. So there's actually a great picture my mum took of me giving it like that to the Milan fans.
Typical.
As a little 10-year-old kid. But yeah, it was just a sensational performance. You know, the Taxi for Mike on chart. It was just brilliant. The goals, though, in the San Siro. I mean, to score 2 identical goals against that defence. The
Zanetti
3 goals.
well.
Yeah, Zanetti, Maicon,
Lucio.
Was J. Lloyd Samuel there at the time?
I think it might have been Samuel. I'd have to look up the team.
Walter Samuel, not J. Lloyd Samuel.
Oh, Walter Samuel.
Not J. Lloyd Samuel. J. Lloyd Samuel was at Aston Villa, mate, and not doing well. He definitely weren't at Inter Milan.
I knew it was a Samuel.
Definitely weren't. Yeah,
And I don't know who
it's
the
the same name.
It was Kivu. It was Maicon, Lucio, Samuel, Kivu, and Zanetti.
You got to remember, Ben. They were reigning champions at the time.
Yeah,
they were reigning European champions. Ben, what were your thoughts on the two games?
I mean, Ryan said most of it. The San Siro for me is the greatest stadium in the history of football. I love that stadium, mostly because I've got an affinity with the city of Milan. But to do it in that stadium tells you you've made it. That's where greats are made. We've seen the greats throughout the years play there, from most importantly, Paolo Maldini's. You've seen Zanetti's play there. This is the cathedral of football. Like, if you want to see a game at a particular stadium, it's not in its glory now. It's a stadium that's falling down, which is why they're replacing it. But if you want to see an atmosphere at a football match in a Champions League game, and you get to see one of them, that's a stadium you see. It's the most beautiful atmosphere there, whether it's Inter or Milan themselves. To do it there on a big night, that shows muster. That is unbelievable to do it there. So it's a romantic football match to see. And the second game was just it was devastating. It was devastating. Shows he took on the best right back in the world at that time, and he ruined it. That was the end of his career. Like, Maicon was never the same after that.
How old was he? Maicon, I want to, because was it like
He was in his late
or
20s.
was it like?
Let's have a look.
All right. Whilst you're doing that, I'll just say I said if anything breaks or anything happens, or if I hear anything or see anything, I'll say it. The Spurs web have just broke via Sky Sports. Seth, I can't remember his. Thank you. Can't believe this. Right, we are continuing to look for Bayer Leverkusen look at Bayer Leverkusen defender Piero Hincapié, and we'll make him one of their priority signings in the summer.
Okay, yeah, we're looking.
Napoli.
We're back. So
Napoli are also interested in the Ecuadorian international. Enjoy Napoli. Back to Bale. Listen, for me, I still think Ryan. I'll talk about that first. The first leg, I just remember that I was sitting there with my mate watching it, and after the first half, you're like, "What the hell is going on here? This is just embarrassing." Down to 10 men. Gomez being Gomez. That second half, obviously, Sky Sports used to have a call-in show. I can't remember what it used to be called. This is Sky Sports or whatever it was called. And everyone started talking about Bale and, oh my God, what a player. That home leg, I even remember Andy Gray saying, I have never seen anyone do something like this. He's like, this is brand new to me. I have never... If I could have gone back in time and had one wish to go, if I had a genie right now and he said you can go back and watch any Tottenham Hotspur match live from minute one, everything stays the same. You're on Sky Sports. Thank you to Tequila. Big up Tequila. And watching that second game, that second leg would have been, because you got to remember, he also created another goal that was ruled out for offside.
Yeah.
He went running down that wing, crossed that ball in for Crouch, and Crouch volleyed it just everything. Yeah. He literally, I have never seen, and he was still a young guy. I've never seen a person still to this day. I still cannot remember a guy destroying a team single-handedly like the way he did. That stadium was rocking. You got to remember as well, when we're talking about Taxi for Maicon, we ain't just talking about any right back. We were talking about then the best right back in the world of football.
Yeah.
The single-hand, he absolutely battered the guy left, right, and centre. And again, I watched You're on Sky Sports. Thanks again, Tequila. And they were just, it then started, okay, how long's he stayed at Spurs? How long's he stayed at Spurs? What's he doing? What's he doing? You've got to admire the actual longevity he actually gave us. He kept signing contracts, didn't he? He just kept signing them. He felt at home at Spurs. And we've got to thank him for that, because that Gareth Bale could have gone anywhere at any time. But he kept, and one thing I will say, he loved AVB. He loved AVB. His first child's initials are actually AVB.
Yeah.
In his honour, there was obviously something he got with him, but going back to that Inter Milan game, the second leg, could anyone else think of another? Doesn't even have to be Tottenham or related, where a player has destroyed single-handedly a team of that stature.
The only one that comes to mind is when Messi scored 4 against Arsenal.
There's a couple.
Yeah,
Messi
okay, well,
Messi a couple of times. He did it against us. At, the earliest one I can remember was when Ronaldo did it to Manchester United at Manchester United and the hat trick, and they all gave him a standing ovation because it was just was unbelievable.
The original Ronaldo.
Yeah, R9.
Okay, so let me rephrase the question then. A guy that was at Gareth Bale's stature at the time destroyed it, because you got to remember the people you've mentioned, Ronaldo and Messi, were there. They were the pinnacle. Gareth Bale.
Then again, you could say Messi when he was 19 and he scored a hat trick at Real Madrid.
Yeah, all right, Ben. Okay.
Yeah.
Messi's prime. Messi's been in his prime for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like that.
You got a point. And then obviously we can move on and. I'll go last with this. Where were you? Do you remember when it started happening, and when like you said, Ryan, when he was coming home? We'll go to you first, Ben. What was your thoughts, feelings when this actually looked like it might actually happen?
When he returned?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a long time ago now for the most part. It was when his agent came out and said, we're looking at options. I think that's when okay, something's happening. And also we were interested in Reguilon at the time. So it was obvious that it was going to happen. The time when that bloke that was doing the skywalk took a picture and he could see Gareth Bale on the pitch. I was like, what? That was really funny. That was brilliant. But that was a moment. That was a moment.
Right.
I was at home. It was probably because obviously about an hour before rumours started proper circulating, Alistair Gold put a piece out because there was rumours previous days about Gareth Bale coming home, and he went, nope, no chance, not happening.
Yeah.
We've been through this before. And then about 5 o'clock, Alistair Gold came back and went, guess what? Gareth Bale's coming back. And it was funny and surreal because everyone was just, because it was during the COVID, so no one was allowed to go. Obviously, a few people did go down to the Hotspur way. There was also this fan on TV that actually saw him at the airport. And I was at home, just literally all over social media, all over Twitter, refreshing. Tottenham tears, Fabrizio Romano. And the minute the "Here We Go" happened from Fabrizio Romano, it was just a waiting game when it was going to be announced. And you knew when he was going to be announced, it was going to be a special announcement. It wasn't going to be just like, here's Gareth Bale. It was going to be something. And when it was announced, honestly, I just broke down in tears. This guy was my hero. Like, yours is Gaza. My granddad's is Jimmy Greaves. My dad's is probably, again, Gaza, or want to go back, Glenn Hoddle. Like, this is the guy I grew up with for 3, 4, 5 years of just dominating games, making the pitch his own. It was like his own stage. It was like, okay, you've seen these lot have a go, watch me. And it was like that. It was just special. That him coming home was just special.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to say, like you, and you know the story, Ryan. I remember that Alistair Gold video, and he said, "I'm not talking about Gareth Bale. I'm not talking about Bale. Every single window people ask me about Bale, and I'm not going to answer it because I like to only deliver stuff that I think there's legs to, and I don't want to get into Bale. There's nothing happening. And then he recorded that video, and then half an hour later, he done another video and goes, well, you know what Tottenham are like. You do a stream, you put it out there, you go upstairs, you have a shower, you have a shave, and you find out Gareth Bale is coming back to Tottenham. And it's happening. And I was like, oh, shit. And then obviously you saw him at the airport, and then obviously it took ages and ages and ages. Also, Bob, I saw you. I think it was Harry Redknapp that broke his duck, not Martin, your brother. But yeah, I remember watching that, and then when you saw him at the airport, and then you saw him at the Hotspur way, in a typical Ryan, things like that happen on a nice hot summer's day. When you and me do things, it's on a very cold, misty, freezing
cold day,
January day. So much, but I'll tell you what, when he came back, and you know what, I loved the whole thing Tottenham would do. I hated the time it took to get the deal done because we were all waiting. Then they announced Regulon and said over to you, Gareth, and then the video with Gareth Bale wearing the shirt and seeing his old videos and his old the way they did it was brilliant. And I actually thought, you know what, with Jose, Kane, Son, and Bale, this could be this if done right. If like I honestly think if Skriniar had been there, we probably would have been in the Jose still would have had the job for the final. We probably would have got Champions League and more. But
probably
yeah,
so
yeah, it's when you saw him, and you know what? That's when this was all happening. That's just when I started getting on We Are Tottenham TV. Yeah, and I think if I could have, and people know I don't give Daniel Levy or the club a damn cent of my money. If it hadn't been for COVID, and obviously people have got to see him, if I could have got my hands on a ticket, I think it's the only time I may not saying I would have thought, you know what, I'm not letting him ruin this moment for me. I can't not see. I don't know if I was to dive in and say, right, okay, just on this occasion, it really, really might have been the time. I think it's an absolute devastation. Obviously, COVID was a nightmare, but the fact that no one got to see, or the odd game against Arsenal, I don't think, did he even come on in the North London? I think he came on as a sub, didn't he? But it was definitely on the bench. And then the Aston Villa game, which was obviously a nightmare for many other reasons. I mean, but like you said, Ben, his stats when he came back were ridiculous.
I mean, how beautiful was it when he scored his first goal back against Brighton? It was like full circle. It was like, that was poetry. Yep. It's just a shame there was no Tottenham fans in that stadium to see that. It's a real shame they were not there for that. I mean that is one of my greatest regrets. I got to see my hero come home, and I didn't even get to see him play because, what's it called? The pandemic took that moment away from us. There's a real that is a regret, but I couldn't control that, of course, unless I'm in charge of a pandemic, obviously. But oh well. But
his goal against Burnley, one where he did it, ball just rolls to him outside the button. And Nick Pope has no mugging goal. He's in England. He's a top keeper, and he's just whipped it around the defender like proper swaz on it and brought it back in, clipped the post in. Yeah.
I mean,
his hat trick against Sheffield United.
Yeah.
Mate, you've missed something out, which has been greatly underappreciated. Not on the stream, I mean in general. It was like when Ben said his first goal against Brighton, his heading was sensational. He had one hell of a header on him. I always remember, whenever I think of a Gareth Bale header, I remember that one he scored against Southampton from like near the edge of the area when he curled his header into the bottom corner. This guy with his head was just as devastating with his feet.
And another one you've got to say is Inter Milan at home in the Europa League. That header as well. Yeah. He scored plenty of great headers.
Inter was sick of the sight of him.
Yeah, they were. They'd fed up of him at that point.
Exactly. I mean, then you look at, like you said, at Madrid, his stats are ridiculous. His Wales is ridiculous. Just an incredible player. There's a great question from Bob I've just seen there. As a great question. People, get your questions in, man, because obviously we're talking about Bale. But if people want to talk, because we've kind of touched on everything on Bale Tottenham wise. Let me just see let's just see if any other news has come in whilst let's go through the questions we've got, Ben. Might as well.
Let's bring up Bob's question.
We'll go with Bob
Bale
first.
It's a very
Spurs or overall?
Overall, I would say.
Bale.
Spurs.
Oh, you say
Bale.
Spurs?
Both for Bale.
I think both are Bale. The only thing Berbatov had over him was Berbatov starred in that final, whereas Bale was on the bench or was in the squad. He was in the squad. He was injured.
Yeah, do you know what? Listen, you got to go Bale because of longevity, but Dimitar Berbatov was one of the greatest footballers I've seen. Like that guy, even when I saw him at Ledley King's testimonial, that guy's first touch, I don't think there's a better first touch in the world when he was on fire.
Yeah.
He was, you just need to look at the thing he did against Fulham. When that ball goes in the air, it just comes down. It's like glue on his foot. Dimitar Berbatov is an absolute incredible player. Incredible. And again, another player we let go too soon. But yeah, it's got to be Bale. It's got to be Bale. But
Yeah.
Berbatov was... Bob's put another question in, and he knows the answer. I don't even need to think of it. I will answer it. Where he is... there's no competition. There is absolutely no competition for me. And it's Pete Gaza every single day of the week, and Bob knows that. I know that. I always say there is not. There's not a single. I just can't. I can't. Paul Gascoigne was a different breed. Different breed. If we have Pete Gaza now, the peak like Tottenham and Italian 90, Jesus Christ, this football club.
I'm going to send the link to Mr. Nick Collerton. I'm going to send
we get a couple of people on. If people want to come on, let us know. We'll send the link out to you. Let's go through some of the questions. Here we go. We've done that one, Ryan. I think you were there for it. Do you know what? Bob is predominantly with these questions. Here we go. Do you think Lilly should have declined the Madrid offer and concentrated on... Bob, you know, listen, the one thing I will say with Gareth Bale going to Madrid, and this we obviously got a lot of flack for leaving, whatever. You saw back in the day, this wasn't when Robbie Keane said, "Oh, it's my dream to play for Liverpool. It's my dream to play for Celtic. It's my dream to play for." It was Gareth Bale's dream to play for Madrid, and every kid could have its dream and whatever. And you saw him as a kid wearing the Madrid shirts. He was the hottest prospect in world football at that time. We spoke about a world record fee that now it just gets dwarfed in that value now. Look at Chelsea; they're spending that kind of money per player normally, and they've got no problem doing it. Yeah. I had one chance to see him live, and I went to the pre-season friendly when Soldado was there, when we just signed them. So his money was already being spent, and that was when people were singing "Bale, we wanted you to stay." And that was my one chance to see him. Yeah, and obviously you weren't there at the time. I couldn't stand it, and I hated that he left. And the way, do you know what it was? It's the way he left. And obviously, I don't want to play. Whether he said that, he weren't turning up for training. And now, in hindsight, looking at it many years later, don't blame him at all because look where we are. But yeah, of course, we should have built a team around him. But we were never, ever, ever. You look at it, Bob. We did it with Modric. Modric was in that team. Van der Vaart was in that team. Kane was in that team. Parker was in that team. That team was seriously going places.
And Bale
seriously going places again. I mean, you just look at that: Van der Vaart, Bale, Defoe, Crouch. You can count Lennon. That team, Scotty Parker. That team was seriously going somewhere.
Yeah.
And it was another place blue. I mean, what do you two guys think of Bob's question?
It was never going to stay at Tottenham. Once Real Madrid made the call, he was done. That was his dream. I mean, and it actually was well documented that was his dream to play for Real Madrid. you could not play for Real Madrid at that point. Prime Ronaldo, prime Modric, prime Ramos. I believe Casillas was still in goal at that point. Prime Marcelo, Benzema, Pepe, prime Pepe. Arbeloa bit was really good at that point. Toni Kroos came into that team as well. If you didn't join that team, you were an idiot at that point. You had to.
You had to force the move. You had to force the move.
That was too much. That was a guaranteed Champions League, and it was 5 of them in the end. But it was a guaranteed win in the Champions League and La Liga at the same time. He had to go. As much as we would have wanted him to stay at Tottenham, there was no chance.
Because it went through on deadline day, and obviously it was kind of that deal that allowed Ozil to go to Arsenal.
Yeah.
Do you think if Levy being smart, but should there have been a clause in there saying Ozil, like it was rumored Ozil can't go to Arsenal then?
No, you don't. You can't make a deal like that. I think the only way. He had to go because of what's it called? Places on the squad. It was going to happen. Ozil was going to leave. I mean, one of the things we could have done is got Ozil at Tottenham, and it would have been a swap deal. Half the transfer fee and got Ozil, because Ozil was a terrific footballer at that time, and Ozil could have filled that sort of number 10-esque role that Bale vacated at that point. Because when Bale left us, he wasn't really playing on the right wing. He was more of a number 10 for us. He was playing everywhere. So maybe an Ozil would have softened that blow and we'd have had a quality player for years. But there was no chance that there was no
question. Do you think it would have been better if the deal went through earlier on in the window instead of going? Is it going to happen? Is it not? Is it going to happen? And then it goes through.
All right. So first of all, what you got to remember with the Modric deal and the Bale deal, Mr. You know who did it unlike Leicester, like Wayne Holland says, when he says, okay, you want our player, this is the fee, cash up front, no installments, no whatever. Modric and Bale were installments. Modric was 20 million a season for 3 seasons, or whatever the fee was.
He only went for 30.
So we were screwing it. We when it came to selling him, right, you got to remember, we had to sell him because we'd spunk the money for him. So that money had to, Enid couldn't shell out. They had to get their money back because they put money into the club. So that deal was going to happen. There's no doubt that we helped the Filth get Ozil.
Yeah.
We there's no doubt we were a huge factor in him going there. Let's face it, I still laugh at it because look how that turned out. First, when he started, phenomenal. It was like, oh shit, but we know how it ended. I think if we'd sold him earlier, at least it would have been done. And we would have had the whole summer of, is he, will he, won't he? No, he is. No, he's not. I mean, Real Madrid still need to, I don't know how they get away with it when they were selling the club shirts and making a podium and saying it's done before it was even done. Yeah. How they didn't get any ramifications from the sporting bodies, but we know now why, corrupt as anything. Real Madrid, this special relationship, which was we bend over and give them what they want and they give us fuck all in return. And a huge problem with this. But yeah, I agree with you, Ryan, that I don't know if whether this deal was done early or not would have had absolutely no ramifications on what happened. But you look at once again how we spent it.
Yeah.
That magic number 7. We do love the 7 signing window, don't we?
Yeah. And so the only player that really made a thing out of that was Ericsson. It was an unbelievable signing for us at the point, but it was overshadowed by the crap.
Lamella okay, Chadley okay, Soldado was just so unlucky. I mean, I love
Kyriacou was awful, and he's a horrible bloke as well.
Yeah. Talking of horrible blokes, let's bring on the exact opposite.
Talking of horrible
see,
blokes.
See how I do intros, Nick? See how I do intros?
I wondered where you're going with that. Speaking of horrible blokes, here's one now.
No, I flipped it.
I did love on Bob Spurs' show the other day when he went, we're all Enoch in. I'm going to bring Enoch out. I'm going to bring on someone who's Enoch in. I was oh shit, and then you popped up.
Yeah, that's Bob. So Nick, first of all, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I've been, well, you know how crazy work's been. So I've got a day at home today, not driving around the country. So yeah, I've managed to
Lovely.
catch up on a load of stuff. So yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. Just not listening to the news, the transfer news or the non-transfer news, and the new word is creeping. We are creeping.
Yes, the new buzzword to add to it.
Creepy FC. So yeah, look, I'm not really waiting for that. I'm just, we're just waiting. Bobby K, I think, has landed. I'm guessing, or was close to landing.
He had, well, I did. Why I just went off camera was I didn't know Rez was picking him up, and I was about to say, Rez, why didn't you tell me I would have come? And then I realised, no, I wouldn't. I got COVID. But apparently his flight got delayed by a couple of hours, so
Okay.
so he may be landing very, very shortly.
But yeah, so
Rez is
he'll
on
be
his
landing
way.
soon, and then we can get through the next 3 days, and then start building up to North London Derby. So,
But Nick, now you're with us. And before we start speaking all things Spurs for the last half hour or so, your thoughts on the Welsh Wizard of our time?
look, it was just, I think, like kind of Ben said, we were kind of, for those that didn't see him the first time, we were kind of robbed the second time. Being able to see him, and look, he came into that side, and the second coming, Gareth Bale being replaced by Gareth Bale, the second coming, he came into that side, and he's still got it. He's still, for what he did with Wales and getting them to that World Cup. And okay, they didn't turn up in Qatar, which is a shame, but yeah, I mean, look, he was just fantastic. He came on, he changed games, and that was after, obviously, the run of however many games it was that they didn't win. Tottenham didn't win with Gareth Bale in the team. So yeah, it's just fantastic to be able to witness, some of those goals. Some of the that goal in the Champions League final, the taxi for Maicon. Yeah, look, it just incredible, man, just incredible. So he and I think towards the end, obviously, of his time at Real Madrid, it was kind of soured, and which was a shame, because he was that game changer, and look, he kind of put out before he put the message out about his retirement, about everything that he's kind of done, and I've changed games, I've won this, I've won that, but I've not been shown in the same light as a Ronaldo or a Messi. Look, I'm not saying he was in that bracket, because that's a crazy bracket to be in, but not to be talked up in the likes of all of those when he's had those types of performances.
There you go. So I've put Ben and I've put a thing saying free for all. Any questions? Just have a little.
Just Brian, before you go on to that, can I just say how embarrassing the Arsenal fans were last night in the Oxford end, kicking off in front of kids, in front of Laura, in front of her sister. So if you're going to the game on Sunday, you want to kick off, come and find me. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, he's calling them
Nick
out.
has put out an open challenge. Nick, I will be right behind you, brother.
Mate, I'm not. Look, I literally, Laura didn't tell me until afterwards, because if she told me at the time, I'd have literally driven there and gone and found them, because what
happened? So what actually happened?
So obviously Arsenal got however many tickets. I think Oxford's like 12,500. It was a sellout. There was there were Arsenal fans in the Oxford end, shouting, cheering, swearing in front of kids, pushing each other, and then obviously they were singing about "Gay Sarah Sarah," whatever will be. We're going to Wembley. No, you're not, mate. You're going to get smashed by Man City in the next round. So stop being so embarrassing. So yeah, that's basically what happened. And Laura's kind of like, look, she was fine, but she was like, it wasn't really, it's like people were saying, look, there's kids there, mate. What are you doing? And they were just being, well, just embarrassing, as they always are. So yeah.
Do you know what? This is the thing that annoys me. And Ben was with me after the game when we went and got a burger, and we were there standing talking to Portsmouth fans, just talking about the game, asking about what they think about Dane Scarlett, everything, absolutely everything, all civil. I'm not saying that everyone all around the ground was being all
Ben was being a bit
everything is going all. Yeah, but it's like, why do that in front of kids? You're at a lower league team. There's just it just sums them up. It just
exactly
sums them up. And like you said, they've got to come down and all be fear the Ashburton Grove posse that are coming down. That's going to be a sight for sore eyes, isn't it? But let's start getting. We've got some questions, so let's start going through them.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. So this will go for all of us, but I'll answer it first because Harry Kane says so. Then can Kulu be our new Bale? Listen, I call Dejan Kulusevski the architect. For me, he is. If we play 3-4-3, he is the most pivotal part to it. Forget Kane and Son. When I say that, I mean they get the goals, whatever. But if he's not there, I'd rather we just went 3-5-2.
Yeah. Forget
the midfielders that we need to play in there. We just cannot operate and be creative. Don't get me wrong. Palace in the second half with Hill, yeah, we did well, but 9 times out of 10. Look at the Brentford game. All right, Kulu got 1 assist and he was off the pace, but when he is there in the 3-4-3, you just know something could happen at any moment, and it's going to stem through him. Can he be our next Bale? He's young enough to do it. He's got. It's whether he gets the time and stays and commits to him as long as Bale did. But I think this guy is an absolutely exquisite, wonderful footballer, and that's why I call him the architect. What about you guys?
I don't think there's ever going to be another player like Gareth Bale. The way the way he played football was frightening. The speed he played at with the technical ability. Kulusevski's more like a Teddy Sheringham than a Gareth Bale. He hasn't got the speed in terms of like getting off the mark really quickly, but he's got pace in the brain. Why Gareth Bale was so devastating is not only did he have pace in the brain, he had unbelievable pace, and he could do it easily. So I think Kulusevski's got to be compared more to a Teddy Sheringham, but Kulusevski is a phenomenal footballer in the making as well.
Yeah, I can see that. Nick?
Yeah, look, I think well, look, he started a lot better than Gareth Bale did, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
look, I think it all depends. I think if you're talking about the last person to truly be able to come on and have an impact on a game before Kulusevski was probably Gareth Bale. So yeah, it would take him a lot, but we need to, it needs to, we need to sign him permanently, and then we need to see where it takes us. If we go on and look, I think this FA Cup, I said at the watch along for We Are Tottenham TV that we need to go deep in this competition.
Oh
it's setting up nicely, and look, if we could go and do that, that would be fantastic. We need to just, like with all of them, like with Kane, with Son, with Larice and everything else, we just need to go and win something. So that would be the first market, because obviously Bale hasn't done that. So not with Tottenham anyway. So
he won the League Cup.
Well,
Ryan, what's your?
I don't really count the League Cup as a. I put the League Cup alongside the Audi Cup and the Walter Cole Memorial.
The League Cup is a proper trophy, but it's still it's a mid-level. It's not
the lowest
a trophy.
Yeah.
Ryan, what's your thoughts on the question from Harriet?
Kulu is similar to Bale in the extent that you know where he's going to go, but you can't do anything about it. Whenever Bale got onto his left foot, you knew it was going to be a goal. But when Kulu gets onto his left foot, you know it's going to be a really good chance, for creating an assist. He always puts it into a great area. It's just whether the striker goes. So that's where the similarities for me are with Bale and Kulu. Don't in terms of what he done, like winning a game on his own. But Kulu is an incredible, incredible talent. And if he comes back next summer ripped and shredded like Bale was, then maybe, who knows? He's only 22.
I
have to say,
Kulusevski is number 10. I think he's got potential.
You have to say that if, let's say, and this is in my wildest dreams, we win the FA Cup, he's been more successful than Gareth Bale.
Yeah, you could say that.
Eric
Forget
Dyer.
that. Forget everything. But yeah, so that's the answer to that one. Here we go. This one's going to be fun. DJ Green Alert, who I love dearly, is a great supporter of this channel. Thank you very much, brother. As is everyone, but I haven't seen him for a bit. So big up, DJ Green Alert.
Yeah.
Any truth in Marcus Edwards and Porro deal going through?
Nope.
Ben?
No.
Ryan?
Nope.
Yeah. This
Marcus Edwards definitely not.
Yeah, this is not happening. This is not happening at this rate. Because if a club where the coach has come out today, I believe it was, and said these two players are not going unless we meet the release clause. We're already not going for the release clause of Porro. I mean, I think Sporting wants 60 million for him because they know that if we give them 50, they get 25. It's 25 million because we get 50% of every sale. So they want 30 million for him, at least, minimum. So I don't see that going through. And do we even want Porro? Does Conte want Porro? He's not exactly a Conte-style right wing-back, which is athletic and tall.
We've got Emerson Royale. We don't need him.
Listen, we got to remember as well. You just got to remember with Porro, this for me, I said it to Ben from We Are Tottenham TV. This is the Adama Traore rumor of this window that will just go on and on and on and on. If a club says to you on multiple occasions, yeah, you can have him, but pay that release fee because every other bid we're going to turn down. Pay that release fee, and we can't stand in your way. Anything else, we're not going to do it. I don't know how it's getting lost in translation.
Because it would be safer for us to pay that. If let's say we bid 30 million and they accept it, Man City can say, all right, we're activating the release clause, but we're activating the clause of 25 million because that's the bargaining chip. Man City have a clause of 25 million pounds.
They won't activate it.
No, but they could do, and let's say we can buy him for 25 million and then sell him again.
They won't.
They could
That,
do.
Listen,
that's
you
the
never know.
the only reason is if they're going to sell him.
Right, listen,
they've got Lewis, Walker, and Salah.
Yeah, but you never know what's going to happen, mate. You never know what's going to happen, and we are dealing with Tottenham Hotspur here. Marcus Edwards coming back. Listen, he, as much as he can be exciting, it's a player we've let go of again to blossom in a league, and it's okay. Let's get him back. If we wanted him, and we're going to see that we're flush with cash, and you're going to show that you're going to back Conte. This isn't even a big spend for Tottenham Hotspur. No. We're not talking a release fee of 85.
It's a bit like Sarr and Hill, right? The player has two good games, and we're jizzing over him like he's Lionel Messi. You know?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Marcus Edwards. Edwards left the club for whatever reason. He scored against us in the Champions League. He played all right in the two games, but then everyone's like, "Oh, let's get him back." The same with Hill. Played well. Played better against Palace than he did against Portsmouth. Sarr looks, but we tend to do it. We go crazy and we go too soon, and we think that they're the next best thing, and then they turn out to be like a Dele Alli or Harry Winks.
There we go. So the next question we got is from Ryan McFarlane.
We did preface this though, Brian, before the stream. We weren't going to talk about the Kyriacou, and we did preface.
We'll quickly say if we think it's going to go through or not. We're not going to talk about it in depth. It's when the question is, when do we think it will fall through, before or after the window closes?
Well, it's not happening in general. It's just not happening.
That's my answer.
It's just not happening.
That's my answer. Nick.
Look, I think there's all of this noise, let's just say, is around. I think Levy's seen what's happened the last couple of weeks and everything with the Levy out and Enoch out and everything else. And I think he's just putting, with everything that's happened with Joe Lewis and the trust and everything else, they're just putting their ducks in order, and they're getting to a situation where they can, if they need to, bail out which is quite apt as what you're talking about.
Pretty
Bale
good.
out. But I don't see how, someone gets 20% here, someone gets 30% here, someone gets, another 25% there. It just won't work. It has to be all or nothing. So yeah, another nice little link there.
Yeah. I love it. But it's just not
You're on fire. You're
not happening.
I'm awake.
that's a good sign, yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan?
Ryan?
I actually think there might be some truth to this for one reason.
You're naive, my son.
No, Levy isn't stupid.
Yes, he is.
And he knows it. Fans want him out. Fans want him out. A majority, let's say 70%, 75, 80% of fans want him out. For whatever reason. Why put a PR stunt on something that may get him out and then, it's disappeared? It would make fans want him out even more. That's where I don't quite get this news breaking. That's the only thing behind it where I'm thinking there might be some truth to this.
I don't understand it when Man United and Liverpool are up for sale. That's what I don't understand.
Listen. I'll tell you now how I think it's going to go. I'll tell you exactly, and it's going to be very quick, and we'll go on to the next question. And I'm going to go back to the deal with Hugo Larice. Do you remember the deal with Hugo Larice and what happened? When he came in the summer window, we agreed a price with Leon, and we said it was 12 million, 14 million, or whatever. He got into this, it was agreed, he got into the Spurs training ground, and because his contract rules running out, Daniel Levy turned around and said, no, we're giving you 8 million. The deal's changed, 8 million. They're like, no, we agreed 14. It's like, well, listen, we'll do 8 right into 12 or whatever it was, or you can go let him back and he'll go for free in January. And they're like, you absolute, and that's what's going to happen here. Everything will be absolutely going plain sailing, and right at the last minute, something will happen.
But it's just not happening in general. I don't even know why we're getting worked up over it.
That's what I said. But we're gonna get away from this because
we're going to preface that we're not going to talk about this again because I've already seen another comment in the chat that wants to talk about it, but I don't want to talk about this anymore. We don't know enough about it, and it requires a lot brighter minds than myself and Brian to talk about this.
Yeah, without getting funny enough,
this is strictly about Bale.
And funny enough, I've got a mouth that can sometimes get me into a lot of trouble, and right now I can't afford to get into any trouble. So, I have to be very careful with what I say. Next question:
it's the moral high ground argument just misunderstood. Yes. Moving on.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. From DJ Green Alert, what will it take for us to be able to go into games feeling confident of the win again, except Palace? It's just not there for me.
Back in contact. Two words. If you back the man, get the players he wants in, who play good football, we'll feel more confident going into games. But with a back line of Dyer, Sanchez, and Ben Davis at the back, and Brian Gill on the wing, and Skip and Sarr in the middle, would you ever go into games confident?
Yeah.
It's not. It's not. I wasn't even confident about the Palace game.
Yeah.
If I'm honest.
I thought 3-0 Palace.
Hadn't won there since 2018. Under the lights, London derby. So yeah, I mean, I was kind of shocked at the end of the game. Sat there like, did I just? I said, I know we turn up in the second halves, right? But I was even sat there like, did that 45 minutes just happen? Like, it came out of nowhere, you know.
For me, you know what it is as well. There was that stat that someone sent to me at half-time of the Portsmouth game that said, in our last 13 games, we've only scored in the first half against Leeds, which was a watch-along you and me did, Nick.
But what you're saying is you and Nick need to do more watch-alongs.
No, I wish it was that simple. No, what I'm saying is, like, you look at it against Palace, against Portsmouth, against Villa. At least we didn't concede. It's like we need to get to that part where we're scoring in the first half and performing in the first half for me to start getting any kind of real confidence, because I was talking about this yesterday on Tottenham away, and I think this has got a whole thing to do with why the atmosphere is so poor at the moment, because people know we're going into this. I mean, it'll be different on Sunday, trust me. Big up, Wayne, my brother. But it will just be, you know what, you just come into this and we know what we're getting in the first half. And then by the time the second half starts, the energy's been zapped out of you. Obviously, it's not going to be
I think Sunday will be different, Brian. I think Sunday will be different.
No, of course. That game, that everything goes out the window. Everything's going to be pumped up for Sunday.
I hope
it's just an absolute crime that it has to be a game like this that guarantees the whole ground will be rocking and shaking and singing. The Villa game, which Nick, you and me did again, you could hear a pin drop, apart from when those Levy out chants started. You could hear a pin drop when we were doing the watch log, and it's because of these performances that need to improve in the first half. I think it's having a real negative impact on the fans, on obviously our ambitions. I think that has got to change, although we have stopped conceding in the first half. Now let's just start scoring in them.
Yeah. It's
Apparently, by the way, news is from Darna's chef as well that Conte wants to stay at Spurs until he wins a trophy.
So he's going to retire at 90 years old.
My manager when I die. Manager when I die is Antonio Conte.
Yeah,
he wins a trophy. So he's going to be there. Yeah, we'll literally be there till they carry him out.
Yeah.
Or he's just heard that some serious money is coming in, and he thinks he may get backed. Who knows? But that's a different question.
On to the next question. Is it just me, or does there seem to be a vile arrogance about Arsenal as a whole? Fans, players, and most importantly, Arteta. I'd given them credit for the football, but not anymore. This has been a problem with Arsenal for a while now, the arrogance. I mean, loads of the Arsenal channels that I follow on YouTube have been saying that there's a particular show which I used to really love called The Muppet Show, which I love watching. This was coming. I'd said this is why I'm wondering why teams are rolling over for Arsenal, because they are rolling over for them.
You saw yesterday, Ben, that you get physical with them and you start kicking them and they don't like it. They and that's what all the other teams need. They need to take leave of what Oxford did yesterday for 60 odd minutes yesterday. They contained them, they kicked them, there was a bit of what Mourinho was saying about see you next Tuesdays on the pitch. And that's what we need to do. That's why we need to Romero and everything else. But Bob's right, man. After the arrogance that they think they're going to get to an FA Cup final when they're playing Man City in the next round, the arrogance of everything is just like I said, look, they're playing good football. You can't get around it. But they were a League One side last night, and not even a League One side that's in the top half, or they might just be in the top half. They were moaning at the ref. They were surrounding him. They were going down. They were holding their heads like they'd been, when they got kicked, and it was like embarrassing. I would have been embarrassed about that,
against the League One side. And then giving it the big uns to Oxford fans.
Yeah, I know. It's mad, right? So, like I said, Ashburton Army, good luck walking down the high road on Sunday, yeah? Because unless you've got a police escort, nothing's going to happen.
Even with a police escort.
That's a funny one. And on to the next question. Why is top four considered better for us than an FA Cup by some fans?
I can answer this straight away.
Yeah.
Champions League, just the nights, the memories you can make. Obviously, the memory of lifting an FA Cup at Wembley. I just think the chance to see all the big boys come into the old lane, Wembley, the new stadium, they put that as a higher regard than winning an FA Cup.
I think it's stupid then. I think that is a stupid mentality.
Would you rather be relegated than the FA Cup like Wigan, or
I'd rather win a trophy. I would rather win a trophy, because that is what elite sports is about: winning.
Exactly. I agree.
I've seen Real Madrid play. Whoop-de-doo. I want to see Tottenham win silverware. I want memories, because a cup or a trophy is a physical memory. It is you can look at that trophy and say, I was there the only thing you're going to say, I was there when Real Madrid came, is a program, and that will diminish. A program will rot away in a few years because paper is organic material, whereas metal will stay there. If it's kept in a cabinet, it will stay there for all eternity.
There's plenty of space, Ben.
You know, this is the thing. When you hear people like what Ryan just said, that I'd rather sacrifice seeing my team win a final and be etched in history and have their name served on the cup because I can see a Real Madrid player in his prime.
Yeah.
That I'm just like, what are you talking? Not you, Ryan. I mean, the people that say it. It's like, I do not get it. You look down at that FA Cup and you look at the base where every year a team's name is etched on that. That having your name etched on that, or the Carabao Cup. I'd rather win the Carabao Cup than get fourth. I want a trophy.
Ryan, bring up Andrew Gregor's point. He's spot on.
Well, we're literally as we're doing this, and there's people like Bob. People will know. Bob and I spoke about it's what connected us at the very, very beginning. Yeah, he's right. There you go. FA Cup is success. Top 4 is an achievement. It's exactly that. The FA Cup or a trophy every single goddamn day over top 4. Because yes, the money, what have we done with it? Yes, the finances, where are they? I'd rather say, yep, I can say I sold my team won a trophy. Yeah, next one. Can we still get top 4 with the players we have, assuming we don't have Richarlison, Decky, Bentancur fit for a while? Hell no.
No.
Not a chance.
No.
For me, is he saying if those 3 are still out injured or if they're fit?
They just said if we don't have Richarlison, Decky, and Bentancur fit for a while.
If they're fit and we don't do any business in January, I think we can still get top 4.
I wish I had your faith. I wish I had your faith.
The only threat is Man United, the top 4.
Ben, Nick,
we have got confirmation that Bobby K has landed in the UK.
Big up, my brother. Big up, my brother.
Bobby K.
At long last, he's better.
He's landed. He's got to get through customs first.
Yeah. Well, put it this way: he was better land at 10 a.m. or something. So he's been delayed a good couple of hours, but at least he has touched down.
Those are the flights you don't want to be delayed with. You just want to land.
Yeah,
mate. It depends, but trust me, when I flew first class when I came back for Bob, I wouldn't have cared if I was delayed for 2 more hours. I would have stuck up there for a lot longer with the service.
You'd have gone back again. No,
mate, I would have just done this. So round trip. If you need to do a detour and drop anyone off personally, fine by me. In economy, yeah, you just want to get off that goddamn plane. Say again?
Did Levy sort that out for you, first class?
No, actually, someone who actually loved me being Levy out, who worked for Air Canada, sorted it out for me. So that was all that was good. Elias put a question in. This will be very, very quickly. I think we're all going to say Prime Dyer, right?
Yeah, Prime Dyer.
Shut up, Elias. Shut up, mate.
Anyway, next question.
Michael Hellman. Bale is the reason. Is the reason my father and I became a Spurs fans. Through the ups and downs, I love this club. Hopefully, there will be better days ahead. Aki, there only can be. There can't be worse. Surely, there can't be worse. Tequila. Bisuma.
Brian, have you seen? There's been another sponsorship announcement.
Don't.
Have we? Genuinely? Oh my God, we have.
Yes, Science in Sport, fueling the game. The origins of our partnership with Science in Sport.
I'm sorry. What did I say?
We said towels, Brian. Where's the towels? Where's the towel sponsorship? We wanted towel sponsorship.
Where is it? I'm struggling to find it. Where is it?
It's on the Spurs app, mate. It's the top thing.
Oh, Spurs app.
What's the new sponsorship?
Science in Sport, fueling the game. The Origins director. There's a guy who's a video. Is the director of. So it's all the. I don't know. I guess supplements and all drinks and all of that malarkey. That yeah.
Drink.
I call this shit. My doctorate in Levy bullshit has struck gold. Well, it was money well spent getting that degree. It's taken 15 years of hard study to get it. I'm going to keep calm now. I'm going to keep calm.
Keep calm and carry on.
So do you
Keep
think
calm and carry on hating
the
Levy.
fantastic profit the club got on Bale only helped to fuel Levy's idea? Oh, I need to calm down. This is the question of buying young and turning them into star to sell for mega money.
Levy already had this. This mentality of. I mean, it's why we wanted the European model, which I'm actually fine with. If you want to make the Ajax model and have players coming in from under sixes all the way up to the first team and then selling them on, I'm fine with that. Just tell us. Keep it. Don't keep.
Guys, I'm going to jump off now.
All right.
Have a good end to the stream.
You do that, Ryan. We'll see you later, brother.
See you later.
Shalom, Ryan.
Shalom, Ashi. Bye-bye, Litrod. So, sorry, Ben, carry on.
Yeah, I'm fine with this message. I'm fine with this. If they tell us. But it's that usual thing. They kept us in the dark as usual. And this is what we got.
Just another, I mean, listen, it works, but the thing you got to do with it, people go on about Manchester City buying youngsters or Liverpool with the Harvey Elliots and what's the Carvalho they signed from Fulham last season, but they pepper that with world-class stars around them, or maybe not even world-class, but elite, high-quality players, and say, right, we've got 3 or 4 good strength players in, regardless of price. They do their scouting well. Now we'll bring a youngster through. Now we'll go get a youngster. I'm all for that. If we went out and bought 3 or 4 top players, and I mean that in one window, not over 15 years, and then said we went and bought a 16-year-old prospect, I'm delighted. Fair play. But rather than do it like Liverpool, let's say do it on a ratio of 3 renowned stars ready to go, 1 youngster, we go 1 genuine star, 5 youngsters. Oh, we best bring in and this has got to stop, because it's obviously after 22 years and 1 trophy. When do you say this has broken?
Yeah,
and that's my view, Nick.
No, look, I think again it comes back to the plan. Obviously, it's always 7 players, right? 7 players for the Bale money, 7 players for Conte, 7 players. For the fact of the matter is that we thought what we were getting. I mean, only with Eriksen and maybe Lamela. We thought what we were getting was, a multitude of stars, and it seemed to be this big. Look at what we've done. Look at what we've invested. We sold 1 player. We've got 7. But look, I just think it was, wake up, Danny. Danny's late to the party as usual.
Yeah,
but look, I think
it's about in the chat is did we show, because Danny's got a load of clips for us and we didn't know. So we're going to wait for Danny to come on. And...
Okay.
Because
I just think with the spending the money and thinking, I think it's just the fact that we don't have a plan. We don't know what the philosophy is of the club, and we just go and spend it because we think that's the right thing to do, rather than invest in 1 or 2 or 3 quality players. We decide let's just go and buy 7, players, and most of them were mediocre.
So first of all, we've got 3 questions left. Then we're going to wrap up, because Ben's got to prepare for his stream and everyone's got to do bits. So we'll go on to the I'm raging. I'm absolutely goddamn raging with that news that's broken. So big up, Graham. Big up. Will the financial report come after the 31st of January? Of course it is. Of course it will.
Of course it is.
I actually I was saying yesterday, I got into an argument with someone on Twitter for a change, who was trying to tell me that what Daniel Levy's doing is a stroke of genius because it's not showing our profits to our rivals who may up the price. And we don't even pay the price that are asked anyway. we don't. So why is showing them the money and them up in? We can't even pay a release fee. What's going to happen? They're going to up the release fee. They can't do it. It doesn't matter. It's if this was a one-off when it comes to spending and money, I could kind of see where this is coming from. But you can't keep finding chinks in the armor to say, oh yeah, it's blind. Do you show show your hand in poker? He said to me. I was like, first of all, I don't play poker, but enough is enough. This is blatantly coming out on the first week of February, or they've got up until March, I believe, until they incur fines. So it will be coming up very, very soon. I mean,
yeah, and the thing that they will also be announcing is, I reckon, it'll be £100 million plus is going to be the profit.
Yeah,
at least
more than that.
I don't know. Well, we'll see. Probably, but yeah, I think it's going to be. Yeah, I think it's going to be in the 100 million plus region.
Yeah.
And then obviously don't forget the following year, or for last year, there was obviously even more. So it's going to be probably 200 million plus profit, because there was all the boxing and the concerts and everything else. So, and the NFL.
That's what Carl was saying. 170 million plus rumoured. And
it'll all go back into the football club.
It'll go to. I think it's now going to go to the science.
Yeah.
Of the football club, or the official betting.
No, what it's going into. It's going into the NFL, because the ultimate dream, and I've said this, the ultimate dream is to have a Premier League game and an NFL game on the same weekend. That is the ultimate dream. So
I think it's even worse than that, Nick. The ultimate dream for Levy is to have the Super Bowl at White Hart Lane. That is the dream. 250 million revenue minimum. And that's not even thinking the advertisements, the food sales, the shirt stuff. £250 million is just, that's how much you get just by getting the Super Bowl. And then you think about the other things. That is the dream for this.
Yeah, the long term dream. But I think in the short term, within the next 18 months, that's what they'll want. They'll want a because at the end of the day, we were there, Brian. I can't remember what game it was, and the NFL wasn't for 2 weeks, and everything was already up. The only thing that was left to do was to turn the shop from Spurs shop into the NFL shop, and the game wasn't for 2 weeks. So.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. There's an 11-minute 40 video about this fuel the science thing.
Let's not watch it, please. I don't want to go full Daigle.
Basically, it's basically saying that we're scientists and we've done this for elite sportsmen and blah, 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 blah. And we know from a recovery point of view, and also that these athletes need to have X amounts of supplements and they need to enhance their performance and blah, 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 blah. And this is what we've done. And that's what it's basically going to say. Yeah. So there's 11 minutes of your life that I've just saved you.
Cheers, Nick.
Yeah, you just, mate, I call this shit, and it's with the next question from DJ Green Alert.
Yeah.
And I'll get it up now. What happened to Google or Amazon sponsor deals? What happened to them? Dulux and Molten Brown.
Yep.
But basically like our transfer policy. We want a high quality defender in Skriniar, we get a Rodham. We wanted Tomiyasu, we get an Emerson. We want
João Felix to Chelsea. Here we go.
Yeah.
Is there any other players that they want to fucking sign? They're like the Nottingham Forest. It's transfer window,
mate. This honestly, This is getting beyond pathetic. This is literally. Oh, listen, what Chelsea are doing, God knows if Potter's in a job by the end of the week. Let's put it that way. And they're doing what they're doing, but they all the money. They're like, right, we're going to buy or try and get the best of the best or whatever at all cost. And here we are. We cannot pay a release fee. We are holding back our financial reports. We are linked with Qataris, and I said, you watch this, will be dead within a week, and a sponsorship deal will be named. Well, it's been 2 days. 2 days, and that sponsorship deal has come true. We still haven't signed anyone. We're creeping. We're potentially verbally making a bid.
Yeah.
And people wonder why Levy out as a thing is growing and the heat is going on, and why people like myself are doing what they are doing. We'll do the final question because I've just had a WhatsApp from Bobby K saying, call me. So I will be doing that very shortly.
Should we do? All right.
So very, very quickly, it's a very easy one to do. So if they made a Levy punch bag, would you buy it? Buy it. I'm creating it. Plus dartboard, voodoo doll, you name it. Tottenham On Tour might have some merchandise, but let's just say it won't be to Levy Inn's cup of tea. I would honestly, if it was in the club shop, no, I wouldn't, because I'm still giving him money. But I would create one, or I'm sure there'd be a knockoff place I can get one. And if anyone can find out a way to create one, let me know, because I want one. So that would be the answer. But Nick, I'm going to let you and Ben wrap up, because I need to make sure I go give Bobby a call. So guys, Ben, I'm going to let you wrap it up.
It's so demanding. Huh? He better not be this demanding at the weekend, otherwise
he's a diva. He's a diva, brother. He's a diva. But listen, everyone, thank you for watching and tuning in. And as always, Levy out.
Daigle out.
Yeah. Yes. I'm just going to respond to Danny, because Danny, of course, finished late. I didn't play the goals in particular because I have no idea about copyright law. And Danny told me last night, if the clip is 7 seconds or less, you can play it without copyright limitations. But then most of the clips he sent me are 9 seconds. So I'm completely and utterly confused. So I'm not going to play them. We've talked about the goals. We've talked about Gareth Bale and how important he was.
Danny's saying you can play them, apparently.
Which one do we want to play then?
You can play them. All right, Danny, we get the message. You can play them. You can play them. You
should have arrived on time, Danny. You should have arrived on time and explained.
Danny Kyriacou arriving on time. He'll be late for his own funeral, man.
He was late to his own bloody show. But what is going to happen on Shelfside Spurs show this week, Nick?
Well, I'm just about to upload it for Thursday. So we're 75 away from 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a massive achievement. So hopefully maybe by the end of the month we can hit that mark. So that'll be great, because that was really a kind of year in the making to trying of getting to 1,000. But we're going to talk about flip-flops. We're going to talk about people on the fence. Obviously last week we didn't really talk much about football. In fact, we didn't, because we kept kicking people out. But obviously we will do a little bit of a preview for the North London derby, but we're just going to have a bit of nonsense and bit of fun, and just laugh about people and life in general.
Brilliant stuff. So you can find me on the Kauffiee Company at 2 p.m. today. So everyone look out for the Kauffiee Company. We will be streaming. And to wrap up the show, we are going to show Gareth Bale's incredible achievements for Tottenham. And thank you so much for watching. And as always, subscribe to Tottenham On Tour, Levy out, and come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
This is Lennon. Where's he going with it? He's looking for Gareth Bale. Oh!
He's off on one of those runs again. The slalom king. Bale again. Oh!
He's a hard man to stop, Gareth Bale. And Norwich simply...
Dryga halvtimmen spelad. Passningen mot Gareth Bale och därifrån trycker han bara på. Fin löpning av Defoe som drog med sig Evans. Vilket gjorde att det var...
Walker. Bale again. He'll hit this and he'll hit it home.
Now Gareth Bale. He's got Walker to his right. He's going inside. It's still Bale.
Bale. Well, it's a brilliant run from Bale. He's so unstoppable in these circumstances. Oh, that is a fantastic goal. Well, it's a night when virtually everything that could have gone wrong for Tottenham has gone wrong, but that is a memorable moment.
Goals at the Hawthorns. As Bale tries a shot! Oh, it's a blinder from Gareth Bale!
Tottenham On Tour.
Oh.